The Republican Party has taken a very bold step, the likes of which I didn't think anybody would ever really do. So let's take a look at this from The Guardian. They say, Republican Party signals plans to withdraw from U.S. presidential debates. Move comes after longstanding complaints from party that nonpartisan commission on presidential debates favors Democrats. Okay, now, a couple things to say about this. First of all, up front, do I really think when push comes to shove they're going to do it? Probably not. I would say it's 60-40 or 70-30 on the side of they're going to end up doing the debates. But having said that, why are they doing this? Well, I'll get that answer in a second, but let me give you more of the information. The Republican Party has signaled its plans to withdraw from traditional U.S. presidential debates, which it claims are biased against it. The New York Times first reported the move, citing a letter sent on Thursday by the Republican National Committee to the Commission of Presidential Debates. The commission was set up in 1987, a nonpartisan body, quote, to ensure for the benefit of the American electorate the general election debates between or among the leading candidates for the offices of president and vice president are a permanent part of the electoral process. Now, let me pause there. That's actually not true. They had made moves over the years to not to make sure, hey, you hear from, all the different perspectives and the leading candidates. They actually had crafted it so you leave out third-party voices and even independent voices, because they made the mistake of allowing Ross Perot into the debates. And when he was allowed into the debates, he got, I think he got like 19% of the national popular vote. And he didn't win any states, but he got like 19% of the popular vote. And so he very clearly acted as what one would call a spoiler. Now, so if it wasn't for Ross Perot, it's possible that George H.W. Bush would have won. Bob Dole, I don't think he would have won. Clinton sort of draxed Bob Dole. But George H.W. Bush may have won re-election if it wasn't for Ross Perot kind of acting as a spoiler. And what happened is the parties realized, look, this time maybe the independent candidate ruined the Republicans' chance of winning, but how do the Democrats know that next time an independent candidate wouldn't ruin their chance of winning? So basically they sort of shut the process out and made it, let's just have the Republican versus the Democrat. And that's why you had all these stories, whether it was Jill Stein or Gary Johnson. They couldn't, this back in 2016, of course, they made it like impossible for these people to get on the stage. So this isn't like a good organization that's on the up and up. It's like direct collusion between Democrats and Republicans to keep the duopoly functioning. And it shouldn't be, of course. Of course you should allow all the voices on the stage. They continue here and say, in her letter, according to the Times, the RNC chair, Ronna McDaniel, said, quote, so long as the CPD appears intent on stonewalling the meaningful reforms necessary to restore its credibility with the Republican Party as a fair and nonpartisan actor, the RNC will take every step to ensure that the future Republican presidential nominees are given that opportunity elsewhere. In a statement, the CPD said it, quote, deals directly with candidates for president and vice president who qualify for participation, and said plans for 2024 will be based on fairness, neutrality, and firm commitment to help the American public learn about the candidates and the issues. Now, there's a problem with that statement on its own, which is, oh, we're committed to neutrality. No, we don't want you to be committed to neutrality. We want you to be committed to objectivity. And there's a difference. Neutrality is when you go out there and you're the debate moderator and you say, look, it's 50-50 proposition, Democrat over here, Republican over here, and I'm going to be equal in every respect. I'm going to act like both sides have equal credibility and credence. Well, hold on now. What if you have the Republicans arguing that climate change is bullshit and the Democrat says, no, it's real? If you're taking a neutral position, are you just going to not interject and say, well, that's not true, Mr. Republican candidate? Because that would be, as a debate moderator, you are supposed to have some commitment to the truth. But what this commission understands is if we care more about objectivity, of course the Republicans are going to come out looking worse, because even though the Democrats and the Republicans are both bad, Republicans are just objectively wrong about more shit. Every Republican candidate, says many more falsehoods than your average Democratic candidate, even though both parties suck. So commitment to neutrality is not the right value. It should be commitment to objectivity. Look, we'll tell the truth no matter what. And by the way, look, they got in trouble in, what was it, 2012, Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama. It was a famous moment with Candy Crowley of CNN where Mitt Romney tried to say Barack Obama didn't call something a terrorist attack, and Obama did, and Obama said he did, and Romney was convinced Obama didn't say that, so Candy Crowley had to step in and say he did say that it was a terror attack, and the right wing flipped out over it and acted like, well, you're not being fair because you're not being neutral. But it's a point of fact. It's a question of what's real, and she said what was real. Well, there was backlash, and then eventually she was let go from CNN. Maybe it had something to do with that. Probably had something to do with that. She was gone soon thereafter because she did her job well, and Republicans don't like that. They want you to be neutral and never interject with actual information. Okay. So now we get to the main point. Why are Republicans doing this? If they're not actually going to stick by it, which, again, I don't think they are. I don't think they're going to stick by it. The reason they're doing it is to try to gain leverage and say, listen, we'll just walk away. If you don't let us do what we want to do, we're going to walk away. If you don't treat us more fairly, we're going to walk away. And so with the threat of, hey, we're going to leave, then the Republicans can turn around and say, you want us to do it? Fine. Look, we'll do it. Here are our terms. And their terms could be, effectively, I don't know the specifics. We'd have to wait and see what they are, but we want One America News to do a debate or Newsmax to do a debate too. We want Fox News to do a debate, or we want, when MSNBC or CNN does a debate, we want more conservative reporters and journalists who do the questions or some of the questions. So they're going to try to use this leverage to then turn around and bias it more in favor of them. That's why I think they're doing it. And I bet it's going to work. I bet what you're going to see is the breakdown of who the people asking the questions are. It's going to be skewed much more to the right. And you're going to have maybe one or two more Fox News debates or something like that. And they're going to try to micromanage it so that they can get as soft a situation as possible. But that gets to the main point too, which is these guys pretend like we want to open, free debate in the marketplace of ideas to prove that we're correct. But really, when push comes to shove, that's the last thing they want. Because they know that if you have a real debate in a marketplace of ideas, they could get exposed. So they want to bias it in favor of them as much as possible. So really, to steal a word from 2014 vernacular, they're snowflakes. Like, they really are snowflakes. They don't trust the ability of the Republicans to be able to make their case effectively. Definitely don't trust them to do it against hostile questions. But I got news for them. Even the way the debates have been to this point, they're comical. And the moderators don't go nearly hard enough on the Republicans. So no matter what, they're going to get what they want, or they're going to get a situation that is more overly kind to them than it should be. But this is what they do. They're posturing here. And what's funny is that some might look at this as like, oh, this is a macho move from the Republicans. It's actually the opposite. It's actually totally weak because they don't have faith enough in their abilities to really stand up and fight for their backwards, terrible ideas. That's what it is. Trump did the same thing. Remember when he pulled out of the Fox News debate because Megyn Kelly was going to be moderator and she doesn't treat me very fairly. And so we pulled out. Trump's biggest sycophants acted like this is a strong, tough guy move. But everybody else correctly acknowledged, like, this is actually weak as fuck. You can't stand up to her? Seriously? You don't have faith in your own abilities to respond to her? And the answer is he didn't, because on some level he knew he was lying about a lot of the shit he was saying, and she might call him out on it, so he ran and hid. I think ultimately they will end up doing the debate, but they're doing a power play here. They're looking to get more leverage, and they're going to try to bias it more in their favor. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.